Hi everyone, peace be with you. I hope you're doing well. It's me, Sammy, back with another discussion. First of all, forgive me for taking so much time before making this video. I'm just going to blame the change in time and change in season, but no, I'm just joking. I'm not going to blame them. But basically, there was a change in time and change in season, and normally I would make these videos towards Maghrib, towards sunset, towards sundown, and time. I didn't coordinate well with the time, so I'm sorry to you guys for that. But I'm back in action. I hope you guys are doing well. So let's get straight into the program, God willing. Last we went into detail about abrogation. We were talking about abrogation. We went into detail about abrogation and what abrogation entails. We learned, including myself, what abrogation is and what people had to say, different people, not just Zaydis, but others, what others had to say. Without naming them, we mentioned what other people say about abrogation. I'm in agreement with the Zaydi view of abrogation. It's an obviously clear view of abrogation. I'm not going to talk about what abrogation is because it will take time, and you can find it in the previous video. Not that I'm not willing to talk about it. I just want to get into our program and discussion for today. We ended the last discussion with what Imam Al-Hadi, peace be upon him, said, God has no likeness or counterpart, meaning that one of the central doctrines of Islamic theology is that there is a complete dissimilarity from the Creator and the creation. He ends his discussion on the creation of the Quran with a negation of God's sharing likeness with his creation. This characteristic is unlikeness is contrary to the Quran, which has like verses. Meaning that the characteristic of God being unlike anything is unlike the Quran. The Quran has like verses, which indicates that the Quran is created. God is not created. So the Quran is in its own way, it is different than, it possesses a different main attribute that is required for something to share the position of God being eternal, because those who believe that the Quran is eternal are practically saying there's another God. This is not a joke or some subject you can just let pass and, oh, this is not that important, we need to focus on other things. No, this is important, because this is shirk. This is polytheism. This is polytheism, and polytheism is what the prophets came to take us away from. That was the prime thing that prophets came to take us away from, is polytheism, in my understanding. That was the number one thing that they came to take us away from. In any case, guys, so this characteristic of unlikeness, God's characteristic of unlikeness, is contrary to the Quran, which has like verses. So, in any case, the vision of God, seeing God, this is our subject for today. Before anything, I begin in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. I praise and I glorify him as he ought to be praised and glorified. So, we're going to talk about the vision of God. This is a controversial topic amongst the nation which claims to follow the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his righteous followers, beginning with his family. So, the vision, will God be seen on the day of judgment? Let's see what has to be said. There's a lot I can say, but we're going by a book, so let's go by the book. And we'll say what I have to say maybe later. The vision of God, ar-ru'ya. It's called ar-ru'ya. Ar-ru'ya. Vision of God, not meaning that God's vision, meaning God's ability to perceive what exists through sight. No. it means seeing God. Seeing God. Will we see God on the day of judgment? Will we see God? Let's see. He also begins, meaning Imam al-Hadi, peace be upon him, he also begins his discussion on the impossibility of the vision with this statement that God has no likeness or counterpart. I believe that's the statement which is being referred to. Yes, God has no likeness or counterpart. Eyesight will not perceive him in this world or in the hereafter. So, he also begins his discussion on the impossibility of the vision with this statement. Since God is said to have no likeness, there could be no characteristic of him that would entail that he could be seen with the eyes or perceived by any of the other senses. God cannot be perceived by any sense whatsoever. This is because anything that exists possesses one of the following characteristics. One that sees and is seen. One that sees and is seen. One that can't see and is not seen. So one that cannot see and is cannot seen. One that can't see but is seen. And one that can see but is not seen. You see these following characteristics in any case. So, regarding the first type, i.e. one that sees and is seen. One that sees and is seen. This category includes those things that have the faculty of sight and perception, as well as a physical existence that allows for it to be seen. One could include as examples human beings, angels, jinn. Jinn can be seen, C-A-N. It's possible for them to be seen. Do we see them? Probably not, but can they be seen? The answer is yes. Jinn, animals, and the like. Jinn are creations made of smokeless fire. They're creatures made of smokeless fire. They're just like us. They have their communities, families, religions. In my understanding, they have their religions. They have some of them are Jews, some are Muslims, some are devil worshippers. They are the devil himself is from this group, but not all of them are like him. Not all of them are evil, though there are many of them which are. I don't know how many, but there are those that are corrupt, but not all are corrupt. So they're not, as the Christians call, I guess the closest thing to a Christian or maybe even a Jew, the closest being to the jinn is probably a demon. But a demon is something which is demonic. Devil, it's a devil. Not all the jinn are demonic. They're not all devils. So, jinn, animals, and the like. These can see and they can be seen. Most animals in any case can see. Some animals, someone might say, well, some animals are blind or they can't see that well. That's true. But in general, there are many animals that can see. Cats can see, dogs can see, camels can see, birds can see, etc. So, although angels and jinn are spiritual creatures that might not be perceptible to all humans, they are nonetheless subject to the sight of each other, as well as God, the all-seeing. God, of course, sees everything. But the angels and jinn, they are, I believe they are, and they were able to perceive each other. They could see each other. One example is Satan. He's a jinn. He was seen. Okay. Regarding the second type of characteristics, characteristics of those things which exist. Regarding the second type, i.e. one that cannot see, and is not seen. Cannot see and is not seen. This category includes those things that do not have the faculty of sight and do not possess a physical existence that allows it to be seen. Examples of this types are accidents such as coldness. You can't see it and it can't see you. Coldness, heat, love, anger. You cannot see love itself. You can see love, acts of love, but you cannot see love. It's abstract. Love, anger, you cannot see these emotions. They're not floating in the air and then we breathe them in, or we absorb them, and then, maybe in poetry, in poetry, these, you might be able to say, I breathe in anger and I release happiness or something like that. But I inhale anger, I exhale happiness or something like that. In any case, but in reality, you cannot see these things. They're abstract. They're feelings. And they're feelings generally. I mean, heat is something you can perceive through feeling. People don't say, do you see heat? You could see fire, but that's not heat. That's fire. Can you perceive heat? Yes. Do you feel it? Yes. You feel it with your by touching, or by it making contact with your physical body. So coldness, heat, love, anger, etc. Although one could see the effects of such, one cannot see these things themselves, nor can these things see. Regarding the third type, i.e., one that can't see but is seen. One that cannot see but is seen. This category includes those bodies that do not have the faculty of sight. This would include things like rocks, water, clothing, etc. These things comprise of bodies with physical characteristics, but do not have senses. They don't have senses. They cannot, at least in our understanding, they cannot feel, they cannot, and they cannot see. The rock cannot see you. Of course, in a miraculous circumstance, that would be the case. It could be the case, rather, that a rock can see you, but the rock cannot see you in normal circumstances. So these things comprise of bodies with physical characteristics, but do not have senses. Okay. Regarding the fourth type, i.e., one that can see but is not seen. One that can see but is not seen. Is there such a thing that of a being that can see but is not seen but is not seen? This category includes that which has the faculty of sight but does not have a body that is subject to perception. No body subject to perception. There could only be one example of this category: God, the Almighty. There is no other example possible for this category. There is no other but God in any subcategory that he falls under. He is unlike anything. He is the all-hearing, all-seeing. Chapter 42, verse 11. So, someone might say, well, how is it that God is the only being? Bring me an example of any God, fictitious, or what you consider perceived to be real, or consider to be real, and present what you have to say. I don't know of any so-called deity, so-called God, that produces a book that inspires man with deep wisdom and guidance, so much so that the book of wisdom, or the guidance, can create a perfect world, can make a world perfect. Perfect. A perfect world if followed. Completely followed. Some mistakes, sure, but perfect? Perfect, yes. A perfect world, generally a perfect world. Bring me one deity that can do that. None. Only God. Only He who has told us that He is God, backed His defense of His godliness, He backed it up with proofs. Well, why can't we see Him? Refer to the first lessons or first discussions of this series, and then you'll understand that. Eyesight will not perceive him in this world. By the way, I want to go back to the word accidents, just in case someone came and is watching this video and they must have come later in time. So accidents, when we say accidents, this is a word I believe adopted from philosophy, but it applies in Islam. I don't like philosophy. I don't like philosophy. I believe philosophy leads to innovations. It leads to complications. It leads to complexities that take one away from the religion of Islam even. Philosophy is a dangerous path to trot on. If you want to study it, that's fine. But applying it to the religion, this is dangerous. You're going to question things. You could be led to questioning things to the point where you will not find the answer that you desire that makes sense to your philosophy, because philosophy is it's an art and a science. It's a science and an art because it's abstract. Am I really wearing this hat? How do you know I'm really wearing this hat? What if I'm not wearing this hat? Whoa, this guy's intelligent, huh? What is a hat? Philosophy is dangerous. I don't support philosophy. So I used to find it like, whoa, philosophy sounds cool. It's not a safe path to be on. Not remotely, nor not from near, not from far. So I don't encourage. Philosophy will take you to another world and bring me an imam from the imams of the family of the Prophet, or the imams, the early Muslims from the Salaf, from the early Muslims, the early Muhammadans. Bring me one of them who was a philosopher. Were any of the Prophets philosophers? Jesus, Moses, Abraham. The Mu'tazili brothers, many of them say, and I say the same, and we all say the same, that they refuted the philosophers. They refuted them, the prophets. However, they did not refute them with philosophy. They did not come with philosophy. They were not philosophers. They refuted the philosophers, but not using. Then the Mu'tazila, people say that they're not philosophers. When I say Mu'tazili, if I ever say that I'm a Mu'tazili, I mean that the basic what I've gone over so far that the Zaydis believe in. Basic aspects of i'tizal, which is the 5 principles. Go refer to a search engine or something. I don't want to go too deep into it. Not because I disrespect you guys, not at all. It's because I want to go back to the program. But I just want to emphasize philosophy, the school of kalam, ilm al-kalam. One may say, well, you need this to debate those who understand it. Yeah, but at the same time, if that's the case, why didn't the prophets use it? Were philosophers not existent in their time? Were people of intelligence not existent in their time? Philosophy has nothing to do with Islam. Nothing. You can argue as much as you want. If you're a 12er saying, oh, well, there's Mullah Sadra, and there's Khomeini, and there's Baqr al-Sadr. I don't care. There is no philosophy in Islam. They can innovate what they want to innovate. 12er Shi'ism got inspired by aspects of Tasawwuf, which they called Gnosticism, which they called Irfan. And these are corrupt beliefs because they believe in things like a person being able to remove his soul from his body. I'm not making this up. Go look up what people say of who they call Ayatollah Bahjat and others, perhaps, that Khomeini said, I swear by God that this man could remove his soul from his body. These people are deviant. You might see them to be, they're good because they believe in Ahlul Bayt. No, the Zaydis are the ones who believe in Ahlul Bayt. I'll say that flat out. This is a truth. They follow Ahlul Bayt. 12ers, they have the idea that they follow Ahlul Bayt. But that's not true. We had the idea and the perception that we follow Ahlul Bayt. We did not. We followed the whims and desires of people. Shi'ism is not that. That's extremism. That's ghulu. I'm just being honest. So philosophy it's a dangerous subject. You can read about it, you can study it, that's okay. But following it and applying it to your life, this is dangerous. Spiritually dangerous. Philosophy, in my view, is not objective, it's subjective. Religion is objective, not subjective. Philosophy is subjective. In many cases, not all, but many cases. If someone discovers that, in many cases, it's subjective. It's like an art. It's like a song. But the poet did not tell you that it's really raining love upon me. The poet is just giving you a fancy way of telling you that I'm in love. That's what he's telling you. But he didn't tell you that, oh, there's really love falling from the sky, literally. It would be nice, but that's not how it works. That's not what happens in real life. But the philosopher might tell you something like, what if, what if, what if? This is satanic. In any case, and that thinking, when someone gets into philosophy, it affects his thinking. Just like, what's his name? I know I'm digressing, but just one more point. Yasser Qadhi, he said that the University of Yale affected him. That's what he said. And if I'm not mistaken, it had an effect on his ability to... Now, if the man truly has... It affected him. Now, what happened after that? I'm not going to say that this effect has continued until now. I don't know. Maybe he cleaned himself up of that. Maybe he detoxed. But he said it had an effect on him, because there are certain subjects that will have an effect on how you view things. Some things are good. Some things will help you view things in a good way. Philosophy, I don't believe, will do that. It might help with good, but also with bad. It comes with its own negative baggage. I felt that was important. So that's why I said it. Says Imam al-Hadi, peace be upon him, eyesight will not perceive him in this world. That's what he says in his book. So these are Imam al-Hadi's words, and we're going to go to the commentary after eyesight will perceive him in this world and will not perceive him in this world, and then we continue with the commentary. Eyesight will not perceive him in this world. Among the discussion of the theologians, philosophers, and exegetes is the possibility of God to be seen in this world and the hereafter. There is a general agreement that precludes the possibility of God to be seen in this world. However, there are those who subscribe to the belief that God can be seen in this world. They rely upon various proofs from the Quran and statements of the companions for their position. Some of them, specifically some Sufi groups, also rely upon statements of their saints, so-called saints. Some of who they call saints are good if we're referring to Imam Ali, or if we're referring to Ja'far al-Sadiq, then yes. But some of their saints, Tasawwuf has major deviance, just like philosophy. Some of them, specifically some Sufi groups, also rely upon statements of their saints. Let us examine these proofs and evaluate their import as to whether it is possible to see God in this world. Regarding the proof from the Quran, they cite the statement of the Almighty quoting Moses, upon him be peace. O Lord, show yourself to me that I may look upon you. Quran 7:143. Their argument is, how could Moses, an infallible prophet, declare something that is impossible and impermissible regarding God? How could he declare something that is impossible and impermissible regarding God? They say that he would only request something that is permissible and established in the rules of religion. Therefore, since he, upon him be peace, requested to see God in this world, it is possible and permissible for it to take place, since he requested it. Let's see what the reply is. The Zaydi brothers reply and sisters reply. We reply by saying that this is based upon the principle that it is permissible for prophets to say things that may outwardly be impossible, in order to instruct their people. It is a method of prophetic instruction not unique to Moses, upon him be peace. Indeed, the prophet Abraham, upon him be peace, did the same thing. After witnessing the risings of the stars, moon, and sun, after witnessing how the stars, moon, and the sun, how they rise, he, upon him be peace, Abraham, openly declared concerning them, this is my Lord. Quran 76-78. In this situation, Abraham declared a statement that may outwardly appear to be worship of creation, But it is clear that he did this in order to instruct his people in the worship of the Creator of the stars, moon, and sun. Exalted be He. So again, in this situation, Abraham declared a statement that may outwardly appear to be worship of creation, that may outwardly appear. He said, "This is my Lord." He saw the star, he saw the sun, he saw the moon, but when he saw that they had their flaws, then he said, "It cannot be my Lord. My Lord doesn't disappear." If I'm not mistaken, we will refer to this verse in the Quran. So in this situation, Abraham declared a statement that may outwardly appear to be worship of creation, but it is clear that he did this in order to instruct his people in the worship of the Creator of the stars, moon, and sun. Exalted be He. After his aforementioned statements regarding the stars, moon, and sun, he, upon him be peace, declared, "O my people, I disassociate myself from that which you associate with God," because his people believed in idols, but they also worshiped the sun, moon, and stars. According to history, they worshipped the sun, moon, and stars. If I'm not mistaken, it's a history. There's a history involved behind this. That was what they worshipped, those entities as well as idols they worshipped that they made themselves. So after his aforementioned statement regarding the stars, moon, and sun, he, upon him be peace, declared, "O my people, I disassociate myself from that which you associate with God." Chapter 6, verse 79. To emphasize the methodology used by Abraham, upon him be peace, in instructing his people, God says, "This is the argument that we gave Abraham against his people." So it is evident that it is indeed permissible for an infallible prophet to declare something that is outwardly impermissible in order to instruct his people, upon him be peace. It is indeed permissible for an infallible prophet to declare something that is outwardly impermissible in order to instruct his people in a religious principle. Okay. Let me go to that verse. In the Quran. It's chapter 6, verses 76 to 79. Here, I have a Quran with me. I recommend Sahih International. They're much more accurate. This is, in my opinion, they're more accurate. This is a translation by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. They're more accurate, but they're also, it's easier to understand. But let's go to Surah Al-An'am, chapter 6. Because let's see exactly what's happening. So Surah Al-An'am, we said verses, was it 76? Or yes, it was 70. Okay, so this is the story. This is from the Quran. God says, I'm going to read this so that we can analyze this together, because to be honest, I now it seems to make more sense, but I could not understand how it is Abraham would say, "This is my Lord, this is my Lord," and then it's an argument he used. So let's go through this together. We'll go through it together. Why not? God says, say to Muhammad, say, "Shall we indeed call on others besides God, things that can do us neither good nor harm, and turn our heels after receiving guidance from God? Like one whom the Satans have made into a fool, wandering bewildered through the earth, his friends calling, 'Come to us,' vainly. 'Come to us,' guiding him to the path." Say, God's guidance is the only is the guidance. God's guidance is the guidance, meaning it's the only guidance. and we have been directed to submit ourselves to the Lord of the worlds, to establish regular prayers and to fear God, for it is to him that we shall be gathered together. It is he who created the heavens and the earth in true proportions. The day he says, be, behold, it is. He says, be, and it is. His word is the truth. His will be the dominion the day the trumpet will be blown. He knows the unseen as well as that which is open. For he is the wise, well acquainted with all things. He's well acquainted with all things. He knows everything. He knows about all things. Now, verse 74. Abraham said to his father Azar, take you idols for gods? For I see you and your people in manifest error. Do you guys take idols for gods? I see you and your people in manifest error. So we see that Abraham sees that they're in error for taking the idols. The sun, the moon, and the stars had not been mentioned. If I'm not mistaken, you find this in extra Quranic text. Tafsir, hadith, you don't find it in the Quran per se. I don't believe it's in the Quran that they worship the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, but let's continue. For I see you and your people in manifest error. Abraham saw that they were in error. Let's continue now. So also did we show Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth, that he might, with understanding. When I do that, it means parentheses. That he might, with understanding, have certitude. When the night covered him over, he saw a star. So, again, let's repeat the previous verse. So also did we show Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth, that he might, with understanding, have certitude, that he might be sure, that he might have certainty. When the night covered him over, he saw a star. He said, this is my Lord. But when it set, he said, I love not those that set. When he saw the moon rising in splendor, he said, this is my Lord. But when the moon set, he said, unless my Lord guide me, I surely shall be among those who go astray. When he saw the sun rising in splendor, he said, this is my Lord. This is the greatest of all. But when the sun set, he said, O my people, I am indeed free from your guilt of giving from you, meaning your guilt, free from you. I'm innocent of what you do. I have nothing to do with you. I am free from your guilt. It says guilt here. Another interpreter might have another way of saying, interpreting this verse, or translating this verse rather. I am indeed free from your guilt of giving partners to God. That's what he told his people. For me, I have set my face firmly and truly towards him who created the heavens and the earth, and never shall I give partners to God. So his people disputed with him. He said, come. He said, you dispute with, he said, in parentheses, come you to dispute with me about God when he himself has guided me. So do you come to dispute with me about God when he himself has guided me? I fear not the beings you associate with God. Unless my Lord wills, nothing can happen. My Lord comprehends in his knowledge all things. Will you not yourselves be admonished? So again, my Lord comprehends in his knowledge all things. Will you not yourselves be admonished? Unless my Lord wills, and in parentheses, nothing can happen. My Lord comprehends in his knowledge all things. Will you not yourselves be admonished? So we saw the context of what is being said. Now, the Zaydi, or at least Imam al-Hadi, or the followers of Imam al-Hadi, peace, I don't know if I believe it's collectively, I could be wrong, but according to the book, the belief is that Abraham did not worship any star or sun, or he didn't worship that. He didn't worship those beings or those entities. He said, "This is my Lord," and then when it said so, this set of verses, the explanation is that he used this as a way to prove to his people, this is not Lord, this is not the Lord. This was his proof. Because we don't, so but God says, now how can we prove this? Because so also did we show Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth. So God says we showed Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth, that he might, with understanding, have certitude, that he might have certainty. When the night covered him, he said, this is my Lord. Now one can argue, myself being one of those, I was saying that Abraham, it appears that Abraham learned about God by seeing that all of these things have a time that they go away. That particular characteristic, the sun goes away, the moon goes away, the sun goes away. They all set. All of them go away. They all have fallacies. The idols that the people worshipped, they have not fallacies. Well, they are fallacies, but rather they have these shortcomings. They have shortcomings that cannot make them God. Abraham, it could be, I will say it could be that Abraham was on a path searching for God. One might say, but he's a prophet of God. Yes, but it could be that he's a prophet of God without having believed in any idols. He could be someone who never believed in any idols. Ali ibn Abi Talib was not a prophet of God. He was not a prophet of God, but he was the first to submit. Why do they say karramallahu wajha? Why do they say may God ennoble his face? You hear it in the book sometimes. May God ennoble his face, Ali. There are two reasons that I know. One is that they say he did not see the private areas of a man, or he did not see these things, so God ennobled his face. He never saw. I'm not inclined to that belief. But the other reason they say is that he never worshipped an idol. He was the only one to have never worshipped anything except God. So the prophet of God, Muhammad, did not worship another God. One could say that the prophet was on the religion of Abraham, the Hanifiyah religion, the religion which did worship God. But he was on the path that worshipped God, but he did not learn. He did not become a scholar, a person of understanding, deep understanding, until Gabriel came. You see, the prophet of God, Muhammad, he was a baby who became a small boy, who became a young man. He married Khadijah. He was a righteous man. He was righteous, but he did not have understanding of something called the Quran until it came to him. But he did not worship anything other than God. When he began to declare that there is no God except God and I am the messenger, people started to oppose him. I don't have enough understanding of the seerah, the biography of the prophet, the history, but people before that, I don't believe people had no issue with Abdul Muttalib. He was the leader. Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the prophet, was the leader of the people of Quraysh. This huge tribe called Quraysh. He was the leader of them. He did not worship any other God, though. He believed in one God. So with Abraham, peace and blessings be upon, and this was followed by the prophet. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ali was the first to follow him. He believed in no idol. There was no time that Ali worshipped an idol. When he saw the Prophet of God say what he said, Imam Ali followed. This is something we have to understand. There was a time Imam Ali did not understand this, but when the Prophet mentioned it, Imam Ali was the first one to believe in this. First boy, because Khadijah believed before Ali, but he was the first to believe. So they say he was the first male to believe, Imam Ali. So may God ennoble his face. Karram Allah wajh. So Abraham, no prophet commits sins. No person that God chose to be a messenger to the people commits sins. None of them commit sins. And by the way, if Abraham was on a path searching for proof, I was going to say something else, but so scratch the by the way part. If Abraham becomes someone searching for truth sincerely, but doesn't worship anything, he doesn't worship any idol, he knows that there is a creator, but he observes, that's not God, no. That's not God, no. That's not God, no. When he observes, and then he goes to his people and says, what you guys believe in is false, because he's using his rational skills. He's using rationality that cannot be that this is God. But one can also argue. See, now I am having a I'm having a you can say an epiphany, if you want to call it that, where it makes sense what the Zaydi, because when I first was skimming through the text, I started to research, looking through different books of tafsir. What did it mean when Abraham said, this is my Lord, this is my Lord? But it says here, he saw the moon, he saw I don't know, I don't think he was in the state of doubt. I think it could be that he was. God says when the night covered him, not when the night covered them. He didn't say when the night covered them over, he saw a star, he said, this is my Lord. But when it set, he said, I love not those that set. When he saw the moon rising in splendor, it doesn't say he said to his people. That's what gives us so God knows, one of these two interpretations may be correct, because it could be that Abraham, peace and blessings be upon him, was alone, not with other people. But that's not to say that he was committing a sin. No, not at all. That's to say that he found God. He found God. He found him. He said, this cannot be my Lord, this cannot be my Lord. My Lord has to be above these. My Lord has to be the one that created these. He had the understanding of who God is. But so perhaps what the Zaydis say is correct. I don't know. I need to meditate more on this topic for myself. In any case, let's continue. But we will conclude anyway. I'm on my way to concluding. So we talked about how Moses asked the Sufis. They say that Moses, being a prophet and being sinless, he cannot ask for something that's impossible and impermissible. He cannot ask regarding God. He can't ask for that if he's an infallible prophet, sinless prophet. He cannot ask God for something which is. So let's see what is mentioned. The context of the incident involving Moses, upon him be peace, requesting to see God, makes the matter even clearer. Prior to Moses, upon him be peace, requesting to see God, it is clear that he did so as to the behest of the children of Israel. The author of Al-Iqd al-Thamin, fi ma'rifati Rabbil Alameen, said, Moses, upon him be peace, did not inquire about the vision for himself. Rather, he inquired on behalf of his people. Similarly, God relates the incident of his people by saying, verily, verily, like indeed, verily asked Moses for something greater than that. They said, show us God clearly. Verily, they, the children of Israel, asked Moses for something greater than that. They said, show us God clearly. We seized them with thunder. If he asked on his own behalf, he would have been seized by thunder. He never fell victim to sin. Instead, their question about the vision was without permission. He said to his Lord, will we be destroyed by the action of the foolish amongst us? Will we be destroyed by the action of the foolish amongst us? Quran 7:155. So, when it comes, I'll end it there. When it comes to Moses, I'm not sure if the verse of this verse is mentioned in this section. It may be. Abraham asked God. No. Moses asked God, can I see you? And God said, if you want to see me, God made the mountains crumble behind him. My belief at this current moment, if I change it, I'll tell you. My belief at this current moment is Moses asked for himself. When God spoke to him and he heard a voice, he asked for himself. He wanted to know if he can. He didn't ask, can I see you, out of negligence, out of ignorance, out of being someone who's evil. No. He did not say, oh, show us God. We want to see God. No, not in a stubborn and aggressive and in a stubborn manner. No, rather it was in an honest manner. Can I see you? But God made the mountains crumble. God showed him who he is through his power, through God's power, through what he's able to do. You understand? We'll go into this next time. This is important. And I know that this section is not talking about this, but at the same time, I'm not just a reader, I'm a speculator myself. Or rather, I'm a ponderer myself. This is a duty of every Muslim, is to ponder. That a prophet of God, a messenger of God, is not someone who's perfect. He makes mistakes. I even believe that a prophet of God can commit a sin, but not a huge sin. Because when Adam was forbidden from the tree that he was forbidden from, God said, do not touch it. It was haram for him. People say, the 12er Shia used to say, this is a mistake. It was a mistake, not a sin. What do you mean it was a mistake? God said, do not do it. Do not go there. It means that it's muharram, it's haram. It's forbidden. The tree is forbidden. God told him not to do something. When God tells you don't do something, it becomes forbidden. Adam and his wife Hawa, Eve, by the insinuation and the inspiration of Satan, he gave in. He was tempted. He ate from the tree. For that sin, but he asked forgiveness. Why did he ask forgiveness? Why? Why would he ask forgiveness for something that he didn't do, if he didn't do anything wrong? Why do you say astaghfirullah? Because you have done something wrong. Now, are you someone who's dishonest? Are you someone who's stubborn? Are you someone who's wicked? No. Adam was not wicked. He was tempted. As is what happens with humans. Adam was tempted. So what happened when they ate from the tree? Their private areas became clear to them. Things changed. At least one thing changed. God expelled Adam, Eve, and some commentators say, at least one commentator says, the devil himself, all three of them out of the garden. Adam was granted time in this earth, but there is a chance to go to heaven. The devil cursed. He never asked forgiveness. Satan, Shaitan, never asked forgiveness. That's the difference. Satan committed his sin, but his sin was out of arrogance. Adam committed a sin out of temptation. He was tempted. So prophets, they do commit sin. What Abraham did, if Abraham said, this is my Lord, let's say that he said, this is my Lord, wanting to understand the truth, it's not a sin because he's searching for the truth. But he's a prophet of God. Sammy, he's a prophet of God. He's a prophet. He's infallible. He's sinless. He's perfect. No, he's not. He's not. Prophets live and die. They're also judged on the day of judgment. Of course they're going to heaven. But why does God say in the Quran, we'll mention the verse next time, why does he tell the Prophet of God to say istighfar? Why is the Prophet of God told to ask forgiveness? Muhammad, I don't believe it's a safe path to say that to look at prophets as if they're like perfect. No, they can make mistakes. They can forget. You think they don't forget? You think they don't make mistakes? Some mistake here and there. You think they don't commit tiny sins, tiny ones, not big ones, just tiny ones. They're not infallible in the sense that they're like angels. No, they're still human. The Prophet of God, peace and blessings be upon him. I know I'm in the dark right now. The Prophet of God, peace be upon him, was told by God in Surah At-Tahrim, go to Surah 66. Didn't God say, "O Prophet, why do you forbid that which God has made lawful to you?" The Prophet knew that what he was doing was lawful, but he wanted to please his wives. God had to correct him. But it was not such a sin or a sin where he made something forbidden because of stubbornness or arrogance, or it was because he wanted to make his wives smile, happy. Be careful, because sometimes Imam Ali's description, if you pay close attention, sometimes Imam Ali looks almost better than the Prophet. If you look at some texts, like Nahj al-Balagha, it's as if Ali is better than the Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. This is why you have to understand they were people. They were people. They were not perfect. They had to go through steps before understanding truly who God is. But these philosophers and mutakallimun, people of kalam, logicians, they think they're better than prophets. If I'm not mistaken, I have read on a Salafi site, but they usually use evidence. Al-Farabi, who was a philosopher, he said there are philosophers that are better than prophets. He went that far, saying that there are philosophers better than prophets. The 12-verse Shia say the Imams are better than prophets. I understand if they mean that they have the knowledge of the Prophet who had knowledge of everything before. Okay, if it means knowledge, it's understandable. But still, those prophets received divine revelation. They had a different situation. That would mean that if I had the knowledge of everything that came before me, then I can be higher than a prophet. May God forgive me. This is dangerous. So prophets, we'll talk about it next time. I know it's long. This is theology. This is theology. So, this is theology, but this is, I'm not saying that the Zaydis are 100% wrong. I'm not saying that. If I believed it, I would say that. But I don't believe they're 100% wrong. But I think that's not I don't believe at this time, I don't think this is the right interpretation. We will continue next time on the ru'ya, the vision of God. I know it's dark. I'm here. In any case, peace be with you. Be safe. I hope you guys are always keeping well and keeping safe wherever you are and whoever you are. God bless you. And I'll see you guys. And I'm not kidding. I'll see you guys the day after tomorrow, God willing. God willing, inshallah, God willing, I'll see you guys the day after tomorrow. Peace be with you. Peace be with you.